Hey guys, my name is Matumio, and recently I have been playing just an incredible amount of Battlefield 3. This is all mainly leading up to the big patch update for Battlefield 4, because I knew that that was going to vastly improve the game. I knew that that was going to breathe a breath of fresh air into the community and into the title, but the weeks leading up to that, and when I was just in my leisurely time looking for something fun to do, I was thinking of this game. I was always jumping in and playing some Battlefield 3. And I think the reason why I was gravitating so much towards this title is that every single time I jump in, I have a good time. And also, I don't rage quit. This has been something that I admittedly am not too proud of, and it's been something that I've been working on, is that I rage quit every so often. I'm not proud of it, and I think to myself every single time it happens, I'm like, really, Matt? You're gonna get annoyed and frustrated over a video game? Like, what kind of 4-year-old are you? You're getting upset over something as trivial as this. And so while it is something that I'm working on, one of the luxuries that I have with this game is that it doesn't seem to happen at all. And while I haven't put my finger on it, maybe it's just because I have a different mentality, maybe it's just because I have a different mindset when I jump in and play Battlefield 3, but every single time I walk away from a play session, I have a smile on my face. One thing that I've been really enjoying is the M416. This thing is like an old lost lover of mine. I don't really play with it all that often in Battlefield 4. It's just not my cup of tea in that game. But back in the previous title, it was phenomenal. And I know that they've done a lot to improve it. They did a lot to make it on par with the M16A3. It does have a slightly slower rounds per minute, but for me, it was like this god gun that I had the perfect accuracy with, and it didn't matter if someone was up close or at a distance. I was going to be able to absolutely destroy them, and hopefully that is very apparent in today's gameplay. I was playing a lot of TDM, of course, on No Char Canal, because that was easily one of the best TDM maps in the game, but I also was playing a lot of the Close Quarter DLC. There is something fantastic about this expansion pack. I have a hard time putting my finger on it, but I think it really just comes down to is that I just love that infantry gameplay. And I know that this was a very controversial DLC amongst the Battlefield community. Some people loved it, like me, because they really liked that tight-knit infantry-based gameplay. Like, that is one of the strong suits of Battlefield 3. That's what they did very well in that game. And to have it where you could just run around and have this very chaotic gameplay with your friends was fantastic. Like, that was a great proposition. On the other side of the coin, though, a lot of people criticize this DLC as just being another attempt for DICE to try to bring in more of the Call of Duty crowd. This is just another way that they were trying to make Battlefield more like Call of Duty. And while I can definitely see where they're coming from, very small maps, few game modes, no vehicles, no large-scale warfare, which is what the Battlefield is known for, just the fact that it was so different from anything that we've ever had in the Battlefield franchise, like, we've never gotten a DLC like this. We even haven't gotten one since then, just because it was so different and the combat in general in that game was so fun and thrilling. I just loved it. And so while I think that a lot of people share the mentality of the vast majority of the Battlefield community because it doesn't have that large-scale warfare and there isn't many servers running it right now, just to be able to go back and play on it every so often on, I think, like the one server that it has the community or has the player base to do so is always a treat. Like, I always have a good time on this expansion pack. Speaking of the player base, though, I have to give a tip of my hat to EA. I know how surprising this might sound, and honestly, I'm a little surprised that I'm even saying it, because EA is not known for their customer service. I think like 2 years in a row, they have earned the title of worst company in the world. And while I know that doesn't really mean a whole lot, because this is really just a bunch of angry gamers that are voting on it, and there are clearly worse companies out there, it speaks volumes as to how little people respect the way that EA has been doing business over the last couple of years and the way that they've been serving their customers. And so the fact that I am now praising them for actually doing something right is a little surprising. And so the reason why I am giving this praise is that a while back, it's been a bunch of months now, they basically gave Battlefield 3 out for free. Like, if you wanted to play the game, you could basically download it on Origin, and if you did it within this window, I think it was like a week period, you own the game permanently. It wasn't just a free weekend, it wasn't just a free week, you downloaded it during that time, and you got one of the best Battlefield games of all time, or at least I would say probably the best Battlefield game that's ever been created. And the result of this is that there are now just a lot of people playing Battlefield 3. Like, if I want to jump in, I have no problem finding a server. A lot of them are admittedly TDM. A lot of people love No Shower Canals. But if I want to play Conquest, I want to play Close Quarter DLC, like anything I want to do, as long as it's usually the vanilla maps, no problem finding a server whatsoever. This seems to be a trend of EA lately. I know that they have now announced that for SimCity. I know that this doesn't really apply to a lot of you, but they've now announced that a lot of the key features that they had in the previous SimCity games aren't going to be a paid DLC. I think that they're going to be adding ghosts and the pool system, and that's going to be 100% free, I think, coming in December. A lot of people, because of past EA business practices, were assuming that those were going to be something that you were going to have to pay for. Of course, there are going to be paid DLC in the future, but it was just like, oh, really? That's nice of you, EA. I'm glad that you are adding this into the game, and it is going to be free content. This is also true for Battlefield Hardline. Like, it clearly wasn't going to be up to the expectations of the community, and they delayed the game. Who knows if it's going to be a good product? It still could be a steaming pile of crap, but the fact that they realized that it wasn't going to be up to the standards of the community, they realized that it wasn't going to be up to what we are hoping for, they took the hit because it's not going to be released at the Christmas or the holiday season, and they're gonna wait and see if it's going to be a better product later on. Hopefully this is going to be a trend that continues with EA. I am crossing my fingers because at least over the last couple of months, or like I would say like the last 6 months, I've been impressed by what they've been doing. Hopefully this doesn't bite me in the ass. I'm still not going to pre-order any game that they make. Like, I've made that decision a long time ago, but it's just nice to see that they seem to have turned over a new leaf. But yeah, guys, that's all I really wanted to talk about in today's video. I've been having a lot of fun in playing this game. I thought I would just kind of share my experience once again, so I hope you enjoyed. But until tomorrow, have a good one, and take it easy.